The bathroom mirror was fogging up from her shower, but she'd left the door open anyway. She always did. Not because she wanted me to see her, that would imply she still cared what I thought, but because closing the door would acknowledge I existed at all. I sat on the edge of our bed, watching her move through the steam like some kind of expensive ghost. The silk robe cost more than my first car. She'd told me that when it arrived. Told me. Not shown me. There's a difference. "Hand me the Chanel," she said, not looking at me. I reached for the perfume bottle on the nightstand. My fingers wrapped around the cool glass, and for just a second, I thought about how easy it would be to drop it. Watch it shatter. Watch her face when $300 of French cologne spread across our hardwood floor like a crime scene. Instead, I stood and brought it to her. She took it without a thank you, without even a glance, just sprayed it on her wrists, her neck, behind her ears. The same ritual I'd watched 1,000 times, but tonight it felt different. Tonight I noticed she was performing it for someone else. "You're going all out," I said. Neutral, observational, the voice I'd learned to use with her. "It's the Waverly Foundation Gala." She said it like I should know, like I should care. The tickets were $12,000 each. The foundation raised over $2 million last year. Impressive. Marcus. She said his name the way people say the name of a saint, with reverence, with a little sigh hidden in the syllables. I'd never met Marcus in person, but I knew him. I knew his Instagram handle, Marcus Webb PR, his favorite gym, Titanium Fitness on 5th, and the fact that he drove a black Porsche Cayenne with vanity plates that read Elevated. I knew he was senior creative director at her firm. I knew he wore Tom Ford cologne and drank Japanese whiskey and posted photos of his watch collection like they were his children. I knew all this because I paid attention. Because when someone stops seeing you, they stop hiding things from you. "Will I get to meet these important clients?" I asked. She laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was sharp and mean and familiar. "God, no. They're too important. You'd just bore them with talk about servers and coding or whatever it is you do all day." She turned to face me, and for the first time in 10 minutes, her eyes actually focused on my face. No offense, but these people operate at a different level. They need charm, wit. You're great at what you do, I'm sure, but social events? That's not your strength. No offense. She always said that before she cut me open. I nodded, gave her a small smile. "You're right. I wouldn't want to embarrass you." "Exactly." She turned back to the mirror, satisfied. The conversation was over. I'd agreed with her assessment of my fundamental inadequacy as a human being, and now she could move on to more important things. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at it. A text from David Chen, but the preview was cut off. I'd read it later when she was gone. "Can you zip me?" She'd slipped into the dress while I wasn't looking. Black, backless, the kind that looked simple but cost 4 figures. I knew because I'd seen the credit card statement. I walked over and pulled the zipper up her spine. My fingers brushed her skin. She didn't react. "Thanks." She checked herself in the full-length mirror, turning side to side. "What do you think?" "You look beautiful." "I know." She grabbed her clutch from the dresser, then her phone. The screen lit up with a notification. I couldn't see what it said, but I saw her smile. Saw the way her thumbs moved across the screen, fast and familiar. Saw her bite her lip the way she used to bite it for me, back when I was still visible. She typed something, smiled again, then slipped the phone into her clutch. "Don't wait up," she said. "These things run late. There's leftover Thai in the fridge if you're hungry." "Have fun." "I will." She paused at the bedroom door, checking her reflection one more time in the mirror there. Then she looked at me, really looked at me, and for half a second, I saw something flicker across her face. Not quite guilt, more like curiosity, like she was trying to remember why she'd married me in the first place and coming up empty. Then it was gone. "Oh," she said. I'm riding with Marcus. He's picking me up in 15 minutes. His car has heated seats. She said it casually, like it meant nothing, like the subtext wasn't screaming in every word. That's nice of him. He's a nice guy. She smiled. You'd like him, if you met him, which you won't. The front door clicked shut 3 minutes later. I heard her heels on the hardwood, the jangle of her keys, the hydraulic hiss of the elevator in our building's lobby. Then silence. I stood there in our bedroom for a long moment, looking at the space where she'd been. The bathroom still smelled like her perfume, like roses and something darker. The bed was unmade on her side, the sheets twisted. There was a water glass on her nightstand with her lipstick print on the rim, red, perfect, like evidence. I picked up my phone and opened the text from David. She's got video from the venue already. Check her Instagram stories. This is bad. I opened Instagram, found her profile. She'd posted 30 minutes ago. A mirror selfie in the dress, caption, ready to slay at Waverly. When you look this good, you make your own luck. Waverly Gala, Elevation PR, Boss Moves. 43 likes already. Comments from colleagues, friends, people I didn't know, heart emojis, fire emojis. Stunning queen! I scrolled to her stories. She'd posted one 5 minutes ago. A video from inside a car, black leather interior, dashboard with a Porsche logo, a man's hand on the steering wheel, expensive watch catching the light. Marcus's hand, his voice in the background. You ready to show them how it's done? Her laugh. Born ready. The camera panned up to show her face. She was glowing, happy, more alive than I'd seen her in months. The video cut off. I watched it again, and again. The heated seats comment wasn't about the car. It was about making sure I knew she was with him, making sure I felt it. I sat down on the bed and opened my laptop, logged into the cloud storage account we'd set up years ago when we first got married. Back when we still did things like share grocery lists and vacation photos and believed in the idea of our instead of mine and yours. She'd forgotten about it. Or maybe she thought I had. I clicked through folders. Recent backups. Her phone automatically synced photos and messages to the cloud every night at 2 a.m. Most people don't know their phones do that. Most people don't read the terms of service when they set up iCloud. My wife wasn't most people in a lot of ways, but in this way she was exactly like everyone else. I found the photos first, dozens of them, her and Marcus at restaurants I'd never heard of. Marcus's apartment. I recognized the floor-to-ceiling windows from his Instagram. Her in his bathroom, wearing his shirt, taking a selfie in his mirror. The timestamp said it was from 3 weeks ago, a Tuesday. She'd told me she was working late on the Pemberton account. I kept scrolling, messages, hundreds of them. Marcus, can't stop thinking about last night. Her, me either. He's working from home tomorrow. Come over for lunch? Marcus, you're dangerous. Her, you love it. More photos. Him, shirtless. Her in lingerie I'd never seen. Nothing graphic. She was too smart for that, too aware of the risks, but suggestive enough. Intimate enough. I felt something cold settle into my chest. Not rage, not yet. Just a kind of crystalline clarity, like ice forming over water, hard and clear and sharp enough to cut. I scrolled back further, weeks, months. The messages went back 7 months. Since March. Since right after the Elevation PR firm landed the Waverly Foundation account. Since she'd been promoted to senior event coordinator and started working directly with Marcus. I found the group chat next. Her and Marcus and 3 other colleagues from Elevation. The messages were worse than the affair. Colleague 1. Did anyone see Janet Pemberton's Botox disaster at the mixer? Girl looks like a wax figure. Her. I literally couldn't look at her face, made eye contact with her forehead instead. Marcus. Speaking of disasters, Sarah brought her husband to the client dinner last week. Dude spent 20 minutes explaining blockchain. I wanted to die. Her. Oh God. I would never bring mine to something like that. He's my boring project, my emotional support accountant. Her. I'm serious. He's sweet, but imagine explaining to David Chen why my husband is talking about Linux servers. Marcus. Chen would have him escorted out lol. Her. Exactly. I keep him at home where he's useful. Pays half the rent and doesn't complain when I work late. The winky face. That goddamn winky face. I took a screenshot, then another, then another. I created a new folder on my desktop, called it Evidence. Started dropping files in, photos, messages, video clips she'd sent to Marcus, just her talking, nothing explicit, but the tone was unmistakable. The intimacy was undeniable. My phone buzzed again. David. She just went live on her story. They're at the Gala. You need to see this. I opened Instagram again. Her live video was at the top of my feed. I clicked it. The ballroom was massive. Crystal chandeliers, round tables with white tablecloths, people in tuxedos and gowns, a string quartet in the corner. She was walking through the crowd with her phone held high, narrating like she was a celebrity on a red carpet. Just arrived at the Waverly Foundation Gala, she was saying, and wow, the energy in here is incredible. This is what happens when you bring together the best minds in philanthropy and corporate partnership. The camera panned across the room. I caught glimpses of faces I didn't know. Then it swung to Marcus. He was standing next to her in a perfectly tailored tuxedo, holding 2 champagne flutes. He smiled at the camera, at her. And here's my amazing colleague Marcus Webb, she said. The camera stayed on him. Senior Creative Director at Elevation PR and the genius behind half the campaigns you've loved this year. You're too kind, Marcus said. He handed her a champagne flute. Their fingers touched. The camera caught it. We're here representing Elevation and supporting the incredible work the Waverly Foundation does for arts education. She turned the camera back to herself. If you're not following their mission, you should be. Link in bio. The video cut off. 63 viewers. The comments were rolling in. You guys are so cute together. Power couple energy. Get you a work wife who hypes you up like this. I closed the app, set my phone down on the bed, looked at my laptop screen, at the folder full of evidence I'd just compiled. The apartment was very quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen, the traffic outside, muffled through the double-pane windows, the building's radiator clicking as it heated up for the night. I thought about what she'd said. My emotional support accountant. I keep him at home where he's useful. I thought about the way Marcus had smiled at the camera, the way she'd looked at him, the way she'd never looked at me anymore. I opened a new browser tab and typed in a name. David Chen. David Chen, founder and CEO of Apex Innovations, net worth estimated at $400 million, self-made tech entrepreneur, started in cybersecurity, built an empire on data protection and infrastructure, conservative, family values, Christian, Republican donor, married 30 years, 3 kids, grandfather of 2. I'd known David for 11 years. I'd met him when his company was bleeding money from a data breach, when his clients were fleeing, when his reputation was circling the drain and every consultant in the city had given him the same advice: declare bankruptcy and start over. I'd told him something different. I'd fixed it. Quietly. Completely. I'd rebuilt his security architecture from the ground up. I'd personally called every single client and walked them through the new protocols. I'd worked 90-hour weeks for 6 months until Apex Innovations wasn't just stable, it was bulletproof. And I'd asked for something unusual in return, not a salary, not a consulting fee, a partnership, a permanent advisory position, a seat at the table. David had said yes. My wife knew I did IT consulting. She knew I had contracts with tech companies. She had no idea that I was the architect behind Apex Innovations. She had no idea that when David made decisions about PR firms and marketing contracts and who got access to his network, he asked me first. She had no idea that when Elevation PR pitched Apex Innovations 6 months ago for a major corporate rebranding campaign. I was in that meeting, sitting in the back row, watching her present. She'd been brilliant, professional. She'd never even looked at me. I wasn't introduced. I was just part of the scenery, another face in David's team. But I'd listened to every word. And when David asked me after the meeting what I thought, I'd said, "They're good, but make sure the contract has a morals clause. These PR firms can be liabilities if they're not careful." David had agreed. His lawyer had drafted the clause. Standard language. Any conduct that could bring negative attention or disrepute to Apex Innovations or its leadership would be grounds for immediate termination of the contract. No questions, no appeals. Elevation PR had signed it without even reading carefully. A $10 million 3-year contract, the biggest account in the firm's history. My wife had been promoted based on that contract. She'd celebrated with Marcus. I'd seen the photos. I picked up my phone and texted David. "Are you watching her Instagram?" 3 dots appeared immediately. "Yes." "Thoughts?" "Unprofessional. Careless. She's making it obvious." "Agreed." A pause. Then, "What do you want me to do?" I looked at the laptop screen, at the folder of evidence, at the messages where she called me her emotional support accountant, at the photos of her in Marcus's apartment, in his shirt, in his bed. I typed, "Nothing yet. Just wanted to make sure you're paying attention. Always." I set the phone down, closed the laptop, stood up and walked to the window. Our apartment was on the 23rd floor. I could see the city spread out below, lights and cars and buildings full of people living their lives. Somewhere out there, my wife was at a gala, drinking champagne, laughing at Marcus's jokes, probably texting him under the table. Planning their next lunch date, their next Tuesday afternoon when I was safely out of the way. She thought I was boring, harmless, useful for paying rent and taking out the trash and zipping up her expensive dresses. She thought I was furniture. I smiled at my reflection in the window. It wasn't a nice smile. She was wrong. While you're here, hit the hype button. Don't forget to subscribe and support this channel with a like. And tell us below, have you ever faced something like this? I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch in the living room with my laptop open and compiled data like I was preparing for a hostile acquisition. In a way, I was. By midnight, I had folders. By 2 a.m., I had timelines. By 4 a.m., I had a plan. The apartment was dark except for the screen glow. I'd made coffee around 3 but hadn't touched it. It sat on the coffee table, cold and forgotten, while I worked. The cloud backup was a gift. Every text message, every photo, every deleted conversation she thought was gone, all of it automatically saved and synced. I organized it chronologically, March through November, 7 months of evidence. The progression was fascinating in a clinical way. March was flirty but deniable. April was suggestive. May was explicit. By June, they weren't even pretending anymore. June 14th, her, "I'm tired of sneaking around." June 14th, Marcus, "Then leave him." June 14th, her, "It's complicated. The apartment is in both our names, and he's, I don't know, it feels mean." June 14th, Marcus, "You're not happy. That's not mean. That's honest." June 15th, her, "I'll think about it." But she hadn't thought about it. Or she had, and decided it was easier to keep me around. The emotional support accountant. The guy who paid half the rent and didn't ask questions when she worked late. I found the group chat again, read through weeks of messages. The casual cruelty was worse than the affair. The affair was about Marcus. The group chat was about me. August 3rd, her, "My husband tried to come to the office today. Tried. I told security he wasn't on the list." Colleague 1. "OMG, why would he even try?" Her, "He said he wanted to take me to lunch, like we're in a rom-com or something." Marcus, "That's actually sad." Her, "Right?" I was mortified. Thank God I caught him in the lobby before he made it upstairs. I remembered that day. I'd taken the afternoon off specifically to surprise her. brought her favorite sandwich from the deli on Lexington. The woman at the front desk had been apologetic, but firm. "I'm sorry, sir, but you're not on her approved visitor list. I can call up if you'd like." I'd said no. Left the sandwich with the desk and gone home. She'd never mentioned it. Never said a word about the sandwich or the gesture or anything. Just came home that night and asked what was for dinner. I took another screenshot, added it to the folder. The sun was starting to come up when I heard the key in the door. I closed the laptop and set it aside, waited. She stumbled in at 5:47 a.m. I heard her heels first, uneven steps, the rhythm of someone who'd had too much champagne. She was humming something under her breath. Happy, loose. I stayed on the couch in the dark, watched her navigate the apartment by phone light. She didn't bother being quiet, probably didn't think I'd be awake, probably didn't care if I was. She made it to the bedroom. I heard the dress hit the floor, heard her collapse onto the bed, heard her phone buzz once, twice, then silence. I gave her 10 minutes. Then I got up and walked to the bedroom door, pushed it open slowly. She was sprawled across her side of the bed, still in her bra and underwear, one arm flung over her head. Her makeup was smudged. Her phone was on the nightstand, screen down. The room smelled like alcohol and men's cologne. Not mine. I stood there looking at her. This woman I'd married 6 years ago, this stranger who'd slowly replaced the person I'd loved. Or maybe the person I'd loved had never existed. Maybe I'd just been convenient. The emotional support accountant. The boring project. Her phone buzzed again. I walked over and picked it up. The screen lit up. No password. She'd disabled it hours ago, probably to make posting to Instagram easier. The notification was from Marcus. "Home safe. Had an amazing night. Can't wait to see you Monday." Below it, another notification. An Instagram DM from someone named Aphilanthropy in Insider. "Love the photos from tonight. You and Marcus are adorable together. Are you guys dating?" She'd responded, "Ha, just co-workers, but he is pretty great." I set the phone back down, walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, drank it slowly, looking out at the city as it woke up. Delivery trucks and early commuters. The world turning whether we were ready or not. My phone buzzed on the counter. David Chen. "Call me when you're up," I called. He answered on the first ring. "You're up early. Didn't sleep." "Same." A pause. "I'm looking at her Instagram. She posted 17 stories last night. 17. Half of them feature Marcus Webb. Multiple shots of them together. Dancing, toasting. One video where they're practically draped over each other in front of my VP of operations." I saw. "My wife saw too. She called me at midnight, asked if I knew about this, if I approved of Elevation PR representing us with that kind of behavior." I waited. "There's a video," David continued, "from the end of the night. Someone tagged her. She's drunk, visibly drunk. Marcus is drunk. They're outside the venue, and she's literally hanging on him, laughing. His hand is on her waist. On her ass, actually. Clear as day. And she's wearing her Elevation PR badge. My company logo is visible in 3 of the frames. Send me the link." "Already did. Check your email." His voice was tight, controlled. This is exactly why I insisted on the morals clause. This kind of behavior reflects on us, on me. I've spent 30 years building a reputation as someone who values family and integrity. I can't have my PR firm's senior coordinator acting like she's on spring break. "What do you want to do?" Silence. Then, "What do you want to do?" I looked back toward the bedroom. I could hear her snoring softly, happy, satisfied. "Invoke the clause," I said. "All of it?" "All of it. Terminate the contract. Effective immediately. Send the notice to Elevation's CEO by end of business Monday." That's $10 million. 3 years of planned campaigns. We'll have to start over with a new firm. "I know. Do it anyway." Another pause, longer this time. "You're sure?" Yes. Okay. I heard him take a breath. I'll have legal draft the termination letter. We'll cite the morals clause, reference the documented behavior at the gala, and include screenshots of the social media posts. Clean, professional, bulletproof. Good. This is going to destroy her career, David said quietly. You know that, right? Elevation PR will blame her. She'll be the reason they lost their biggest client. In this industry, that kind of failure follows you. I know. And you're okay with that? I thought about the group chat, the screenshots, the photos of her in Marcus's bathroom, the way she'd laughed when he called me sad. I'm okay with that. All right. His voice shifted. Business mode. Anything else you need from me? Not yet, but I'll let you know. Do that. And hey, I'm sorry. I know this isn't easy. It's easier than you'd think. I hung up, checked my email, found the link David had sent, clicked it. The video was worse than he'd described. 47 seconds of my wife and Marcus outside the Waverly venue, clearly wasted, laughing and touching and posing for some friend's phone camera. Her dress was askew. His bow tie was undone. At one point, she stumbled and he caught her, and his hand slid down to her ass and just stayed there while she giggled into his neck. The comments were already rolling in. Okay, but they're deaf hooking up, right? Called it! I knew they had chemistry! Someone check on her husband, Elma Ooh. Her what? Yeah, she's married. Check her Facebook. Been together like 6 years. Oop. I watched the video 3 more times, downloaded it, added it to the folder. Then I opened a new document and started writing. Notes, strategy, moves and counter-moves. This wasn't about rage. Rage was sloppy. This was about precision. The bedroom door opened around 8 a.m. She emerged in one of my old t-shirts, hair like a disaster, makeup smeared into raccoon territory. Morning, I said, neutral, conversational. She grunted, went to the kitchen, poured coffee, added cream and sugar, drank half the cup standing at the counter with her eyes closed. Fun night? I asked. Amazing night. The gala was incredible. She opened her eyes and smiled at me. Genuine happiness. She was still drunk, I realized, or hungover enough that the edges were blurry. We raised over $2 million. $2 million. The speeches were perfect. The whole thing was just God. It felt important, you know? That's great. Marcus gave this amazing toast. She poured more coffee. He's so good at public speaking. People were literally crying. And the dancing after. We closed the place down. Didn't leave until like 5. I noticed. She looked at me then. Really looked. You waited up? Couldn't sleep. Oh. She seemed puzzled by this, like the idea of me having thoughts or feelings about her absence was foreign. Well, I'm here now. Gonna shower and then probably sleep until tomorrow. You should check your phone. Why? Lots of notifications. People seem excited about the gala. Her face lit up. She grabbed her phone from where she'd left it by the door, started scrolling, smiled, laughed. Oh my God, everyone loved the photos. Look at this, 300 likes on the champagne toast picture. Very popular, right? She was scrolling faster now, reading comments, grinning. Marcus is going to die when he sees these. We looked so good together, like professional but fun, you know? That's the energy Elevation needs. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, poured myself more coffee. You and Marcus seem close. He's my work husband. She said it easily, casually, no guilt, no awareness. Everyone at the office jokes about it. We're just a really good team. Your work husband. Yeah, it's not a thing, it's just like we work well together. We get each other. Right. She looked up from her phone, studied my face. What's wrong? Nothing. You have that tone. What tone? That passive-aggressive tone, like you're upset but pretending you're not. I took a sip of coffee. I'm not upset. Okay. She went back to her phone. The conversation was over. She'd decided I was being weird, and that was my problem, not hers. She scrolled for another minute, then her face changed. The smile dropped. She went very still. "What?" I asked. "Nothing. Just a weird DM." But her thumbs were moving fast now, typing something, deleting it, typing again. "Everything okay?" "Fine. Just someone asking if Marcus and I are dating. People are so nosy." "Are you?" She looked up sharply. "What?" "Dating Marcus." "Jesus Christ, no, he's my colleague. Why would you even ask that?" I shrugged. The photos look pretty intimate. "They're work photos, from a work event." Her voice was rising, getting defensive. "I'm allowed to have friends. I'm allowed to have a life outside this apartment." "Of course." "God, you're doing it again. That passive thing. If you have something to say, just say it." "I don't have anything to say." "Fine. Then I'm going to shower." She stormed past me toward the bathroom, paused at the door. "And for the record, you being jealous of my career and my friendships? That's not attractive. That's insecure." The bathroom door slammed. I stood in the kitchen, listening to the water run, thinking about the word insecure, thinking about the group chat where she'd called me her emotional support accountant, thinking about the photos in Marcus's bathroom, thinking about the way she'd lied to my face just now, easy and smooth and practiced. My phone buzzed. David again. "Legal is drafting the letter now. Should have it ready by Monday morning. You sure you want to be there when it hits?" I typed back, "Front row seat." "Understood. I'll make sure you're in the Monday executive meeting. We can schedule the call to elevation for 10 a.m. "Perfect." Another text came through. Unknown number. Then I realized it was from her phone. She must have texted herself from my phone at some point to have my number saved. The message was a screenshot. The group chat. From 2 months ago. Her. "Sometimes I think about what my life would be like if I'd married someone ambitious. Someone who actually wanted more than a quiet life and a 401k. Marcus, it's not too late." Her. "Feels too late. Feels like I'm stuck." Colleague 2. "Girl, you're 34. That's not stuck. That's barely started." Her. "I know. I don't know how to do it. How to leave." Marcus. "You just do it. Rip the Band-Aid." Her. "Easier said than done." I stared at the screenshot. She must have meant to send it to someone else. Or maybe she was drunk texting. Or maybe, somewhere in her champagne-soaked brain, she'd decided it was time to be honest. I didn't reply. Just saved the screenshot. Added it to the folder. The water shut off. I heard her singing in the shower. Something pop and cheerful. She was happy. Still riding the high of last night. I opened my laptop. Started drafting my own document. Not for David. For me. A list of everything I was going to do. Every move. Every step. Because she was right about one thing. It was time to rip the Band-Aid off. I just don't think she understood who was holding the knife. The meeting with Detective Morrison was exactly what I expected. Professional, procedural, boring. My lawyer did most of the talking. Explained that I'd discovered my wife's infidelity. Explained that I'd taken legal steps to protect my interests. Explained that everything I'd done was within the law. The detective listened. Took notes. Asked a few questions. "Did you access Lauren Hastings's phone without her permission?" "No. I accessed our shared cloud storage account. An account we both set up and agreed to. She simply forgot it was still syncing her data." "Did you follow Marcus Webb or Lauren Hastings?" "No. I used publicly available information. Social media check-ins, LinkedIn posts, Instagram stories. Nothing private." "Did you interfere with their employment?" "I provided accurate information to their employer about contract violations and to a subsequent employer about fraudulent expense reporting. Information that was verifiable and true. But you did so with the intent to harm them." My lawyer interrupted. "Intent is irrelevant if the actions are legal. My client has a right to share accurate information with relevant parties. That's not harassment. That's transparency. Detective Morrison looked at me. Do you understand why they feel harassed? Yes. And does that concern you? No. Why not? Because feelings aren't facts. They feel harassed because they're facing consequences for their actions. That's not the same as being harassed. She wrote something down. Do you have any ongoing plans to contact them or interfere with their lives? No. It was true. Technically. I didn't have plans. I had contingencies, but no specific plans. If I told you that Marcus Webb is genuinely concerned for his safety, would that change anything? If Marcus Webb is concerned for his safety, he should reflect on why someone he wronged might be angry. But I'm not dangerous. I've never threatened him, never touched him, never done anything illegal. You vandalized his car. I damaged property during a heated confrontation. He chose not to press charges at the time. That's on him. Detective Morrison closed her notebook. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be blunt. Legally, you're right. You haven't done anything that crosses into criminal harassment. But morally, you're on thin ice. What you're doing, this systematic dismantling of their lives, it's vindictive. It's cruel. And it's going to come back on you eventually. Is that a threat? It's advice. From someone who's seen this before, people who dedicate themselves to revenge rarely end up happy. They end up isolated, bitter, alone. Is that what you want? I didn't answer. She stood up. We're done here. No charges. But I'm keeping this report on file. If anything else happens, anything at all, we'll be revisiting this conversation. Understood? Understood. My lawyer and I left. Walked out into the bright November morning. He seemed pleased. That went well. No charges, no follow-up. You're clear. Great. You don't sound excited. I'm not. This doesn't change anything. It should. It should make you realize you need to stop before you do cross a line, before you do something you can't take back. What if I don't want to take it back? He stopped walking, looked at me. Then you're going to end up in real trouble, and I won't be able to help you. Noted. I'm serious. You're playing a dangerous game, and the longer you play it, the worse it's going to get. Thanks for the advice. I left him standing there, walked to the subway, rode home in silence. When I got back to the apartment, there was another envelope taped to my door. Same as before. Hand-delivered, unmarked. I opened it. Inside was a single photo, printed on regular paper, black and white. It was me, leaving the police station, walking down the street with my lawyer, taken from across the street. Grainy, but clear. On the back, someone had written, "We know where you live. We know where you work. Back off, or we escalate." I took the photo inside, sat down at my kitchen table, stared at it. This was Marcus. Had to be. Last desperate move from a desperate man. Or maybe it wasn't Marcus. Maybe it was someone else. Someone I hadn't considered. Lauren had friends, colleagues, people who might feel protective, who might decide to help. My phone buzzed, text from Tyler. "I'm out. I can't help you anymore. This is too dark, too personal. I want no part of it." I didn't respond, just set the phone down. Tyler was done. My lawyer was done. Even David was pulling back. I could feel it in his messages, the increasing distance, the careful tone. Everyone was telling me to stop, to let it go, to move on. But I couldn't, not yet, because there was one more thing. One final move. The one that would make all of this worth it. The gala. Not the Waverly Gala. A different one. Bigger. More important. The annual Corporate Excellence Awards. Black tie event. 3,000 attendees. All the major players in New York business and PR. It was in 2 weeks. David's company was receiving an award. He'd asked me to attend months ago. Back when I was still invisible. Still just the technical advisor nobody paid attention to. Back before I'd destroyed my wife's career and driven her out of the state. I was still invited, still expected, still on the list, And so was Richard Hartman, CEO of Elevation PR, the man who'd fired Lauren and Marcus, the man who'd cut ties with them completely, refusing even to provide references, the man who'd be standing on stage accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award in front of 3,000 people. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing, not physical preparation, no weapons or violence or anything illegal, just research, planning, timing. I knew Richard would give a speech. Knew he'd talk about integrity and values and building a company on trust. Knew he'd present himself as the moral center of the industry. And I knew exactly how to destroy that image. The expense fraud evidence Tyler had given me, I'd only sent some of it to Marcus's LA employer. I'd kept the rest, the really damaging stuff, the evidence that showed Richard knew about the fraud and ignored it. That showed he'd been protecting Marcus because Marcus brought in clients. That showed his whole integrity-first persona was bullshit. I compiled it, organized it, put it all into a single, devastating document. Then I waited. The night of the gala, I wore a tuxedo. Expensive one. Custom-fitted. David had insisted. If you're going to be on stage with me, you need to look the part. I arrived early, checked in, got my table assignment, sat down at table 12, right in the middle of the ballroom. Perfect view of the stage. David found me during cocktail hour. You came. I said I would. I wasn't sure, given everything that's happened. I'm fine. You look different, harder. It's been a hard few months. He studied my face. You're planning something. No. Don't lie to me, I know you. What are you going to do? Nothing that affects you, I promise. That's not reassuring. It's the truth. Tonight's not about you. It's about Richard Hartman and Elevation PR and making sure everyone knows what kind of people they really are. Jesus Christ, you're going to make a scene. I'm going to share information, publicly. That's not a scene, that's transparency. Don't do this, please. This is my night. This award, it's important to me. Don't turn it into a circus. I looked at him. This man who'd trusted me, who'd given me power, who'd been loyal when I needed it most. I won't embarrass you, I said. I promise. He didn't look convinced, but he didn't stop me either, just walked away, shaking his head. The gala started at 7, dinner at 7:30, awards at 9. Richard Hartman's award was the last one of the night.